year a strategy for controlling infections. And again, if you get everything else right about dignity, if somebody acquires an infection, again, you're not really respecting their dignity. End-of-life care, Bob's already said that the common core competencies and training standards were issued again in June. As I walked round the outside of this room to come in today, I actually noticed there was a big pack of them on the table, so as well as on the website you can actually get the hard copy. That, if you like, is phase one of a piece of work. Basically, the Department of Health commissioned our national colleagues in Skills for Health and Skills for Care to work together to develop these core competencies for end-of-life care. When we're talking about end-of-life care in this context, we're not talking about the last 72 hours or the last couple of weeks. We're talking many months, because the pathway of end-of-life can be quite long, and it's about making sure that whole pathway is tackled and people are competent to do their job. The reason that we've got involved with end-of-life care, our group in the North East, is because Bob's already said money's been given to strategic health authorities to support end-of-life care training, and that money should be spent across health and social care. Some, I've heard on the radio, some strategic health authorities seem to have lost the money in their general budget. We're very lucky in the North East because our strategic health authority knows how to count, and they haven't lost the money. The money is there and they're busy working on how to allocate it at the moment. And one of the primary care trusts realised that it was all very well having money, but you need to know what to spend it on. You need to buy the right training. And there was certainly evidence that in the past people had been given the wrong training. So perhaps care home staff had been given training for, put through a course that had been really written for nurses who wanted to train to be palliative care nurses. So if you get the wrong level of training for the staff and probably inappropriate and not quite fitting the bill, so we needed to get it right. We needed to identify training at all levels. And we recognise that dignity is a right for every single person. Every one of us in this room wishes to be treated with dignity, and we all have a responsibility to treat each other with dignity. Now, when you come to end-of-life care, of course, you only have one chance to get it right. We can all probably think of perhaps we interacted with somebody and thought, God, we could do that better, and then when we do it next time, we do it better. But of course, with end-of-life care, you can't. You've only got that one chance, and if you get it wrong, that's it. You can't go back. So here in the North East, we're developing what we call a learning and development pathway. We were originally going to call it a strategy, but I'm sure you're all aware everybody's publishing strategies. If you put the strategies on a bookshelf screwed to a wall, it would probably fall off the wall. There are so many of them. So we thought, no, we're not going to develop a strategy. It's going to be a pathway to support learning and development. And what we've done, we've taken the common core competencies. We've identified all the different national occupational standards that underpin those common core competencies. We've then looked at the different training that's available, different courses, NVQs and things. We've mapped those to identify which ones deliver the right skills. We've identified there are some gaps. So therefore, national colleagues in Skills for Health and Skills for Care are going to have to work together to develop new national occupational standards or adapt existing ones to fill those gaps. And we've also identified gaps in education and training. So we've identified particular skills people need, but the training doesn't seem to be there at the moment. So again, more work. We aim to publish our learning and development pathway by the end of the year. We should have a fairly good draft ready by the end of October, but it should be out with everybody for the end of the year. And most importantly, the work we're doing here in the North East, if you like, is trailblazing the phase 2 of the national work. And basically, I think what they're going to do, they're going to take the work that we've developed here in the North East and then take that around the country and use that as the start for the national piloting. So if you like, we are genuinely in the North East informing national developments in this particular area.
So sorry, I was sort of looking at the thing and I hadn't realised it was me. You can read. I'm not going to read it out for you, you can read. Once we get it wrong, and I'm going to give you an example of getting it wrong, it's, as Andrew said, very difficult. When my grandfather was in hospital, I went once at 4:30 or 5 o'clock thinking, I'll go on the way back from work, and I'll see him and I'll bring my parents coming in later. And the doctor said, no, you can't go home, I need to speak to you. So I actually sat in the ward for about 8 hours, because they forgot I was there. In fact, the doctor had gone home, forgetting I was there. But my grandfather was on a kind of main ward. It was obviously he was dying, and they moved him to the side ward. And after about 2 hours, he became like a wild bull. He was grinding his teeth and rolling his eyes. And I said to the nurse, look, I'm really concerned about this. He said, oh, I'm sorry you're upset. I said, never mind me being upset. My grandfather is actually in huge amount of pain. Can you control that? She said, well, we don't have a doctor on duty. And mind the French, I said, this is a bloody hospital. There must be a doctor somewhere. Go and get a doctor. Well, I can't. So they brought this young lassie, and I'm at the age where young doctors look about 12. Yeah? And she'd obviously been asleep, and she'd probably worked a 40-hour shift. And I felt really sorry for waking her up. And she kind of came in. She said, "Oh, I think I was supposed to see you sort of 7 hours ago to tell you your grandfather's dying." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I do know my grandfather's dying." She said, "I'm sorry you're upset by seeing him in pain." I said, "Never mind me being upset. Please control the pain." Because the man has no dignity, lying there like a wild bull, grinding his teeth, rolling his eyes. My grandfather had been a huge man, bigger than me, taller than me, and by this time he was kind of like 7 stone. But his anger was so... And after that, he calmed, and we had a few words. I think he was aware, and he died. But to die in such pain takes away kind of any chance that that person has of kind of making that transition, of him feeling sort of, and they were concerned about my dignity. And I think dignity's got to be the bedrock of all the services we offer. We used to speak in terms of kind of, if anyone can remember NVQs from about 20 years ago, there was kind of anti-discriminatory practice, and there was lots of kind of abstract words. But now the idea of dignity, about being treated as we want to be treated, and we expect our family to be treated, has become kind of critical to the core values of our work. There's no doubt about that. And when it goes wrong, it can go horrendously wrong. Andrew, do you want to...
I mean, Bob's already mentioned a personal experience of clearly where somebody wasn't being treated with dignity. I think we can probably all think of one. I mean, I can think of one where I wasn't treated with dignity, nor was the person in a hospital bed next to me. And all right, we're going back 25 years, and we're not talking about this region, we're talking quite a few hundred miles from here. But I was admitted to hospital with an allergic reaction to penicillin. I didn't actually know what was wrong with me. I was admitted through A&E, so a usual scramble to try and find a bed. They found a bed in the hospital for me. I was taken up to the ward, put in bed.